So, okay. So can you just introduce yourself? Just tell me about what you do right now, what you've been doing before this, what you would like to benefit from this session. What are you? What are your goals? Just introduce yourself.
Okay, so as you know, I'm Oluwadara Akinsoji.
Mhm.
I'm in my mid-20s. I studied metallurgical engineering in Yabatech. I did that for 2 years. I was supposed to continue, but I stopped because some things were not making sense to me at that point. But currently, I'm working as a customer representative.
Okay. So you studied
Yes,
engineering.
yes, I did
Okay.
metallurgical engineering.
What do you call it?
Metallurgical engineering.
Methodological. I know nothing about that, by the way.
It's like meta maths. It's about materials and all that. You might know it
Ah,
as material science. Yes,
oh, okay. Huh. Interesting.
yes,
Okay. I've learned something new. Okay, so but now you work as a customer rep.
representative.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does that mean exactly? What does your day-to-day look like as a customer representative?
So I'm supposed to make a customer's life easier. Whenever they have a challenge, they're supposed to get their goods. They have problems they are having. So I'm supposed to communicate with them and try to solve their problem and whatever challenges they might be having. Take orders, keep a good relationship between the customer and the company. So that's my job.
Hmm, interesting. Okay, okay, awesome. So what are you trying, what do you think, or what would you like to achieve from this session? What are you looking forward to achieving? What are your goals?
Clarity. I just want to know where I stand and what I should work on. I think that's like the most important thing to me right now because I'm actually confused, to be honest.
Interesting. Okay, so what's confusing you? I want to hear about that.
First of all, I finished I finished my program like studying UI UX like last month. So working on portfolio and trying to do this here and there. What I mean, yeah, do this here and there is like make LinkedIn posts because we're asked to push value and things like that. So, but when you check, trying to apply, when you check list of requirements, you are seeing BSc
Mhm.
and they are asking for some funny things, and you're like, "Ah, I didn't know that this was the requirement for this." I also read an article earlier, I think today or yesterday, that was talking about how the demand of UI UX designers has fallen because of we are not in the pandemic anymore.
Hmm.
So you just be like, ah,
Who wrote that
and you
article?
can't. I can't remember, but I can send it to you on LinkedIn. I
I'd love
can't remember the
to
person
send that.
that. So also, most of the people that I say, okay, they're doing UI UX, only very few handful of people that I know personally are doing UI UX and they're not done with school. They're working and they're still going to school, which I plan on doing myself. So I was thinking, okay, maybe it was the pandemic that actually allowed them to get that opportunity. So I'm just confused at this point.
Hmm. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so you say you finished a UX design course last month.
Yes,
Where did you do it? How long was it?
Pexels. It was supposed to be
Oh,
3 months, but it took
Texas.
5 months. Yes. Are you
Okay,
familiar with Pexels?
I know them.
Okay.
Okay, so that was 3 to 5 months.
Yes.
Okay, so it was supposed to be 3 months, but you extended to 5 months. So did you work
Yes.
on a project?
Yes, we worked on two projects, two major projects. We had other things we were doing, like assignments, but we had two major projects. I had my final project for an app. It's called
Okay,
yeah, it's called Stu Safe, but the brief was create an application for students, tertiary institution students, to help them to help them with saving so that they are not stranded after school.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Who gave you guys the brief? Did you come up with the project idea yourself, or it was like
No,
assigned?
it was assigned.
Okay. Okay. Just a second. Okay, so you said that you have two case studies. You mean okay, you said you worked on two projects during your time there?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Were
yes,
they
right.
converted to case studies? Do you have them as case studies? Do you have a portfolio?
I have, yes, I do have my Behance account. I have two case studies there. One is for the project, the final project, and the second one is like post post pixels. Like I did that, I think last week,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
published it
And
this
both
week.
of them, both of
Yes,
them are on Behance.
yes, they are.
So if I ask you for your portfolio link right now, you'd send me the link to your Behance.
Yes,
Drop it in the
yes,
chat.
right.
Drop the
Okay, I
links.
should drop the link.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
While you're doing that, do you have a CV?
Uh, I do have a CV, but I don't think it's properly curated for
Yeah.
a tech job. Yes,
Okay. So you have one. Okay. Check.
I'll
Okay.
share the link to my.
Good. Um. All right. While you are getting the link, I have some other questions for you. Are you currently applying for jobs for product design or UX design jobs?
No, I haven't done that.
You've not
No,
been
I
applying.
haven't done that.
Okay,
No, I have
okay.
not.
But if you were going to start applying right now, what platforms do you think you would be applying on?
I think LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like provides me like options
Okay,
to apply. Yes.
cool. Um, awesome. I'm still expecting the link when you get it.
No, I
Oh,
already shared it in meeting chats.
okay, okay, cool. I've seen it.
Okay.
All right. So on the spectrum, where would you see yourself, or where do you see yourself? Junior, mid, or senior product developer?
Junior. Junior, obvious. Yes.
Okay, minor. Okay. What are your what's your salary expectation?
150. I can start with 150.
150K. All right. That is fair enough. Okay. Um, okay. Let me have a glance at your project. So you have fair money and still save.
Yes.
Okay. Um, was this still save was your project at this at
Um,
okay.
my final project at Pixels.
All right. Okay. I think I have some basic information. So there's a reason why I asked all these questions. I was not just asking them for asking sake. I asked these questions because the UX design field is unlike other fields, like say medicine or say even engineering that you were studying. So the UX design field is kind of different in the sense that the knowledge you gain from every other field is very applicable within UX design. UX design is a field that you make use of several types of knowledge, such as psychology, the visual design, but also communications, public relations, a lot of several kind of fields, and even knowledge of engineering could even come in handy depending on the project you're working on. Okay, I think he has dropped off, so that's fine. Okay, so I was saying how UX design
Okay.
field is a bit different from other fields. So I asked this question because the knowledge you've
All right.
gained as a customer representative, the knowledge you've gained in engineering and every other things that you're interested in, has a lot to do with what you'd be doing in UX design, what you are doing in UX design. So I've had a glance through your portfolio. I would say this is not too bad. It could be improved on, but it's actually not too bad. And there are a couple of things you could improve on. But there was
Okay.
something you said earlier um, about about not seeing enough jobs, and someone saying UX design is what was that? UX design is
Saturated.
saturated, that there are not many jobs anymore. Okay, so that's very, very false. Like there's no
Okay.
truth to that. There's absolutely no truth to that because if you go on Google right now and literally type UX design jobs, you'll see a lot. If you go on LinkedIn or go any of these job platforms, you see a lot of UX design jobs.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, every week I get an average of 2 to 3 new recruiters sending me messages in my LinkedIn to
All
apply
right.
for jobs. So that goes to show you two things. One is that there's job out there, so that's a false statement, and also goes
All
to
right.
show you the value that should be attached to your LinkedIn profile. So I also
All
had a
right.
chance before this meeting to look at your LinkedIn profile, and I'd say it needs a bit of work. Yeah. So
All right.
you need to work on your LinkedIn profile. Um,
Okay.
your portfolio as well needs, there should be at least 3 projects in your portfolio, 3 quality projects in your portfolio. So I would say that's something that you need to also work on.
Work
Um,
on.
yeah. Now, what I okay, so before I go on, there's one last question I wanted to ask you, which is that what are your interests? What are things you do aside engineering that you were studying and customer representative that you're doing? And also, where do you see yourself? So that's 2 questions actually. What are your interests and where do you see yourself? Let's say in 2023, what do you want to achieve? So,
2023. First and foremost, get a job. But I'm really invested in art and design generally. That's even before I even knew what it was. So
okay.
it was even like it was art that drew me into UI UX, but I finally found out that it's not UI UX is not art. After like years, but the
Okay, so
visual
art in
part,
what
I'm
way?
sorry.
Arts in what way? What were you doing in arts?
I used to draw
Okay.
when I was much younger. Yes, now I follow a lot of artists. I appreciate art a lot. I I'm so what's the word? I'm always like excited when I'm talking about movies, um visual effects. I'm always just intrigued about that world. So
Okay,
basically that's yes.
cool. Yeah, so I'm actually noting down all those things you're saying, and very interesting to you that to me actually that you draw. So as much as UX design is not art, there is art in UX design. UX design in its entirety
Okay.
is not art, but there are portions of UX design that being an artist would really help. Um, for instance, UI design, the visual design part of UX design. So you could have the knowledge, a lot of knowledge on UX design, but decide to specialize in a part. So I will touch on that in a bit. But you said your goal for 2023 is to get a UX design job, right?
Yes, right, right,
Yeah, okay. What is your salary expectation? Is that the 150K you mentioned?
right.
Okay, that's cool. So, so what I have been trying to do with all these questions is some sort of diagnostics, trying to understand how your past, your present can lead to the future that you want, and also try to see how I can help you. So having done this, which is the diagnostics, I the next steps would be some more sessions, actually 4 sessions, which would be starting in January, most likely
Okay.
first week in January, either first or second week in January, but to run for 4 months, 4 weeks, I mean, 4 sessions, 4 weeks. And this session will not be one where I'll be teaching the basics of product design. It's not a knowledge sharing. It's not one where I would be teaching you about Figma. Of course,
Okay.
there are times I would see your designs and I would have some suggestion as to how you can improve on it, things like that. Those will come up, but it would not be a core teaching session. It is a
All right.
coaching session. I call it a transformational coaching session, which means that there are a couple of goals that we'll have for the whole session. One of which is um, I would be sharing with you the platforms where you can actually get jobs. So
Okay.
there is a kind of effect that I would like to call it maybe the pool effect, where in my experience I haven't had to apply for so many for most of the jobs I've gotten in my career because I set up my LinkedIn profile in a certain way. I set up my profiles, my public profiles really on different platforms, such a way that when I'm looking for a job and I kind of turn on the those kind of features, I tend to get these recruiters just sending me messages, sometimes emails. So I say that to note that aside the platforms that you should be on, which I'll be sharing with you, and maybe even depends on how proactive you are during the sessions.
All
I'll
right.
be helping with setting up these platforms, setting up your profile on these platforms. Your LinkedIn profile, I'll also assist with refining it. Your CV, well, which you mentioned that you don't have one that is tailored to tech, also help to review that and help clean it up. Again, all of this is dependent on how engaged you are in the process and how proactive you are. Then, if
All right.
you're really active and you've already started applying for jobs, I would actually help with kind of preparing for these jobs and with mock interviews. We'll be doing some mock
All right.
interviews where I'll actually act like the recruiter or the HR person for that company. And cover letter is something that a lot of applicants look down on or they don't even know is important. When you want to apply for a job and they ask you for cover letter, so they let me try to break it down, the benefits of the cover letter. So cover letter is like your voice in the room when you're not actually there.
All right.
It's that thing that actually sets you apart from the rest of the hundreds or thousands of people that are trying to apply for the same job. It is like the thing that puts your feet or your leg through the door. And unfortunately, a lot of people do not even know the value, talk less of having one. The group of people that even use a cover letter, some people just use generic letters. They just create one and they apply it. So, but that's not it. Cover letter should be about you, should be about your experiences and how you use your experiences to help that company. So it should be tailored to that company. You should be using words that would speak to the values and the mission of the company and how you would actually help them move forward and make more money, which is what for-profit companies are about. So
Yeah.
yeah. In addition to that, I'll be sharing job links. Now, I mentioned job links not because job links are out there. I don't even necessarily need to share job links with you because if you Google it right now, you'll see jobs. If you go to LinkedIn jobs, you see jobs. But I mentioned that because being able to sift between or among several jobs to know which one is right for you and based on your specialization, what you want to specialize, or your interest in tech or in within design, then you need to be able to know the kind of companies that we call one chance and the kind of companies that you would see yourself actually enjoy working. So there are those signs in the job descriptions already. There are those
Yeah.
signs, but sometimes we just don't know how to tell the difference. And even while you start the hiring process, sometimes we are just blinded with, oh, I need a job, I need a job. And you don't notice those signs, and then you enter the job, and within 3 weeks, you want to resign. So those are some things that I would help with. And then lastly, specializations, which I've touched on. I usually tell people that your personality, your interest, which is why I asked for your interest, your past experiences, again, why I asked for your experiences, all have to do with the niche or your core strength that you would
Yeah.
put more towards within UX design. UX design is really broad, and it's always a good thing to choose one or two areas where you shine the most, because those are even questions. Those are always part of the hiring process. Those are things that will come up. Oh, what's your strength? Okay, they will dig in deeper into your strengths in UX design, because they know there is nobody that will be 100% at all parts of UX design.
Mm.
Nobody is even going to be interested in every part of UX design. Yes, you might be doing it, you might be a generalist in that area, but there'll still be some parts that you are more, you're stronger. So, all this being said, do you have any questions so far before I go on?
I think you've answered the question I about mentorship. You said you're having a program starting by January.
Mhm.
So how am I going to get more information concerning that?
Okay, so that's the next thing I wanted to say. So this session is not going to be free. I won't be doing it for free.
Okay.
It's most likely going to be a group session with other people, a really small group. I am looking at between
Okay.
5 to 10 people at most. So it's going to be a really small group. I'm choosing to do a group session because I have done things like this in the past, and I've noticed that several people tend to learn more or learn better when they are watching and learning from other people's errors and mistakes and, well, successes as well. So it would be
Okay.
much more beneficial if there are other like-minded people or people that are looking for the same thing in the same room. So that's why I'm choosing a group session. So it's going to it costs £100. It's actually already on, I think it's already on the website. If you checked it, you should have seen that somewhere there. So it's £100, which should be equivalent of 80 something, 90 something. I don't know. The exchange rate is
Okay.
crazy these days, but it's basically £100. Um, the next thing I would do is I would send you an email with a summary of what we've discussed, because I've been taking notes about you. I'll send you an email with some
Okay.
of the things I noted and what your next steps would be, which is, well, what I've talked about. I'll also send you some details about the when the deadline for registering your interest and paying would be.
Okay.
Most likely would be late December, maybe 20 something. I don't know yet. But like I said earlier, the session will most likely start first week in January, and there'll
Okay.
be a couple of things that I would require from you before we start the session. There'll be, like, for instance, your portfolio, which I have glanced at. I'll be expecting for you to fine tune it, do certain things, which I'll communicate. I'll
All right.
communicate before the session starts. Um, let's see. Yeah, I need to emphasize on this. What you should not expect from me or from this session is one thing, like I said earlier, I won't be teaching you the basics of product design, none of that. There will be
All
no
right.
what is UX, there will be no this is how to draw user flow, none of that. I expect that you should already have some of this knowledge. And if these are things that, if there are some specific things that you would want me to help out with, like some specific knowledge, feel free to reach out to me. I can always
All
point you to
right.
the right resources, but it will not
Okay.
be within what we'll sit down and be gisting about. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, I won't be doing it for you. I won't be redoing your CV for you or redoing your portfolio or writing cover letters for you. I won't be doing any of that for you, but I'll be doing it with you. So it's
Okay.
it, like I said earlier, it depends on how proactive you are. It depends on how engaged and how interested I see that you are. That is how much you'll be able to get as well. I won't be over pushing. I'll push, but not.
I understand.
Yeah. Also, yeah. And this is a no excuse zone. I won't be entertaining excuses of, oh, my cat died, my rat.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, because it's a high impact, like I said, it's a transformational session. It needs to be one that 4 weeks, we have goals, we have to achieve it, and that is it. So
Mm,
I think I am done. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me now. Do you have
okay.
anything else?
Okay. Say in case one can't make the payment or can't meet up with the deadline, do you
Mhm.
have like different codes for this?
So this one in January will be the first for the year. To be honest, I've not really thought about the schedule yet, but most
Okay.
likely the next one would probably be maybe March or April. So
Okay.
I would definitely want to space it out. Yeah.
All right. All right. I think that's all I want to ask.
All right. Thank you very much. It's been
Uh,
a pleasure helping out.
all right.
Feel free to reach
Thank you.
out if there's anything, and stay engaged as well on LinkedIn. And I think, yeah, I'm more active on LinkedIn. So,
All right.
all
All right.
right.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Enjoy your day. Bye.
You too. Bye.